Ladies and gentlemen, I don't really raid, and since you just clicked on a weapon review for a raid gun, I understand the confusion. But maybe a better way to put it is, I'm predominantly a solo player, and I don't find my way into a raid all that often. But Marcelo QFL Gamer Pro actually did request a review on a raid gun that I do have. That being the Chattering Bone, and I did secure the Curated role on this one, which comes packing a feature that you don't see on very many other weapons, and it's one that could prove useful inside of PvP. This pulse rifle can be found in the Last Wish raid, and in case you missed the memo, any gear dropping in the Last Wish or Garden of Salvation will currently be power level viable through the next year. But do keep in mind this gear needs to be acquired here in Season 11. But I remember a few weeks after the launch of the Last Wish raid, Chattering Bone started to become rather prevalent inside the Crucible. And I gotta say, I was pretty jealous of those who had one. The gun looked really cool, and it seemed to be rather strong, and at the time, I was short one proper raid team. Eventually I was able to get in there and snag one for myself, but it wasn't until a few months ago when I was egg hunting to finish out my Cursebreaker title that a Curated role dropped for me. So that's the one we're going to be using for this review, and we'll have a peek at this weapon and try to figure out if Chattering Bone still holds up in the Crucible currently. And if the answer to that question is yes, this may be a weapon worth looking for as we head into Beyond Light. But if at any point you find yourself enjoying this video, feel free to give it a like, and consider subscribing to the Ironworker Gaming channel, which is quickly becoming a one-stop shop for a lot of exotic and legendary weapon reviews. And with that, let's kick things off by taking a look at the stats and damage numbers. Chattering Bone is a legendary kinetic lightweight frame pulse rifle shooting at 450 rounds per minute with 33 rounds in the magazine. As you can see, this weapon has been updated and is now upgradable to power level 1360. When taking a look at the stats, nothing really stands out when compared to other lightweight frame pulse rifles. Inherently though, this archetype does have good reload and handling, with average stability, but the range stat is on the lower end of the spectrum. Checking the hidden stats on light.gg, we have a pretty solid aim assist value of 71, a bounce intensity of 43, and a recoil direction that tends mainly to the right. And for the usage rate, according to Destiny Tracker, Chattering Bone isn't seeing very much play these days, sitting at the 156th most used weapon in quick play Crucible game modes over the past month. Intrinsically, lightweight frame pulse rifles have superb handling, and the wielder will move faster when this weapon is equipped. Looking at the Curated perk set, our barrel is corkscrew rifling, slightly increasing the weapon's range, stability, and handling. The magazine option is light mag, boosting the weapon's reload speed and slightly improving the range. In perk column 1, we do have kill clip for a 30% damage buff when reloading after a kill. And in perk column 2, we find high impact reserves. So essentially, we have a weapon with 2 damage increasing perks, which is a rare find. And as with any Curated role that you find dropping, it will be fully masterworked, and Chattering Bone comes with a masterwork in range. For the damage numbers, Chattering Bone will do 25 points of damage on a crit and 16 points of damage to the body, giving us an optimal time to kill of 0.87 seconds requiring 8 crits, and a body shot time to kill of 1.3 seconds, needing 12 shots landed. Wait, hold on a second, she didn't die. So, double checking to make sure Agent Sparkles is running 6 resilience, which is what we always test at, and she is. One more time, 12 shots, still not lethal. We'll try it again on Smelly Drifter, who's also running 6 resilience, and no dice. Sadly, it looks like number rounding got us here again, and it's actually going to take 13 bullets from 5 bursts to down a Guardian in 1.6 seconds when landing body shots. But with kill clip active, we will do 33 points of damage on a crit and 20 points of damage to the body, allowing 6 shots from 2 bursts to deal lethal damage. And with kill clip active, we are able to deal lethal damage in 4 bursts to the body. Taking a look at high impact reserves, we're dealing with a smaller percentage increase on the damage, so the Tribute Hall is probably the best place to explain this. 645 is our baseline damage versus this ogre, and you can see when high impact reserves kicks in with 15 rounds left in the magazine. There's both a visual and an audio cue, but no on-screen indicator like we saw with kill clip. Once active, the initial bullets are hitting this ogre for 723 points of damage, and the last burst we fire off hits for 810 points of damage per bullet. So the damage ramps up from a 10 to a 25% damage increase in the last 15 rounds. My question in PvP was, can these damage buffs overlap and do they stack? The answer to both is yes, where we see kill clip and high impact reserves together hitting for 35 points of damage on a crit. And when they're combined, Chattering Bone is hitting for 21 points of damage to the body. And while we're not killing in any fewer bursts than with Kill Clip alone, more damage is always better. Last thing we'll check on is the physical range of the weapon, and Chattering Bone will hit for full damage from 35 meters away. Past that, our damage will gradually fall off and finally bottom out at 68 meters. And with all that covered, we'll talk about this weapon's performance in the Crucible. There are a couple advantages to having the curated role of Chattering Bone, and the first one is that boost to the range stat straight out of the box. Both the barrel and magazine options are boosting the stat, as well as the fact that the weapon is fully masterworked in the range department. And while a boost to the range stat only increases the physical range of the weapon so much, it does provide a nice bump to the overall accuracy of the shots fired. This paired with the decent stability and the strong aim assist value result in a very reliable feeling pulse rifle. This weapon feels both precise and forgiving, making it a very user-friendly weapon. And all of this kind of negates the major problem of the lightweight frame archetype, since we are wielding a weapon that already has solid base, reload, and handling. Plus, lightweight frame weapons do come with that intrinsic buff to our movement speed, and a little extra mobility in the Crucible is always appreciated. And then this curated Chattering Bone is double stacked with damage perks. Obviously, Kill Clip is the more potent of the two, giving the weapon the ability to 2-burst Guardians in the Crucible. And Kill Clip can only be found on the curated role. But that extra damage at the end of the magazine from high impact reserves does have potential to help out in team shot situations, or when firing on an already wounded enemy player. And I really do like the idea of having an active damage perk and a passive damage perk. It's not something you find on very many weapons, and it's not something that I would expect to see in the future, with Bungie seemingly backing away from damage dealing perks in general. But it's a really cool synergy between these two perks. Kill Clip gives you the potential for bonus damage at the beginning of the magazine, and then as your magazine runs down and that Kill Clip timer expires, High Impact Reserves kicks in and gives you a bonus damage at the end of the magazine. Unfortunately though, the situation isn't going to arise all that often where you see both perks working simultaneously. It can happen, but you really gotta spam fire those bullets before the Kill Clip timer runs out. And of all the pulse rifle archetypes, the lightweight frames might be in the worst spot currently. The 0.87 second base time to kill isn't bad, but it is the second worst in the weapon class. And it does require some extra precision to achieve it, needing to land 8 shots in 3 bursts as crits. 7 crits and 2 bodies would work also, but this still demands that you don't miss. Then our findings with the body shot time to kill were pretty disappointing. We were seeing 16 points of damage per bullet, 12 bullets, that's 192 points of damage, which should be enough to down a Guardian with 6 resilience. But due to number rounding, it sadly is not. A 1.33 second base body shot time to kill would have been the best in the weapon class. But since it is requiring 1 extra trigger pull, that body shot time to kill is not looking so good anymore. And then, once again, the current sandbox is worth mentioning. A 34 meter optimal range does put you outside of the meta auto rifle and hand cannon ranges, but we're talking about just outside them by a few meters. It can feel pretty bad trying to square off against an auto rifle user who is wielding a weapon that is more versatile, demands less precision, and can kill quicker even if they miss a shot. I really think that the current landscape of PvP is hurting this weapon archetype's usability overall. For the verdict and would I recommend using the curated Chattering Bone in the Crucible? Honestly, I really don't think it's a bad option, but it's not a great choice either in the current landscape. The precision that this weapon archetype demands to be effective when living in an auto rifle world can be frustrating. But look at it this way, with a few small tweaks in the future to the bullet combination required for lightweight frame pulse rifles to hit their time to kills, and with some shifts in the sandbox, this weapon archetype could be good. And in my opinion, this roll on the Chattering Bone probably makes it the best lightweight frame pulse rifle in the game. The potential is there for this weapon to output a good bit of damage, and it's future-proofed for the next year. And personally, I am very pleased to have this weapon in my pocket going forward. So if you did enjoy this video, a like and subscribe would be greatly appreciated. If you'd like to catch me live, I do stream on Twitch. Look for Ironworker814 over there, drop me a follow, and you'll get notified as soon as I hop on. And to contact me, simply comment down below and I will be sure to get back to you. And with all that being said, I'd like to thank you for taking the time out of your day to check out this weapon review. You guys are awesome, and I will catch you on the next one.